And now, the Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind, so they have an extra one, and that's how we get the podcast. The podcast. Big D and Bubba's podcast. The podcast. The podcast. Big D and Bubba's podcast.
A guy called in and we're like, hey, so what's going on? We asked him some basic question like, what's your name and, where are you from? We're like, what's your name?
Where are you from?
That's all right. Next. Hi, good morning. Big D and Bubba.
We just went on.
Please move on.
So yeah, what a crazy week. One of my favorite things that we did was the balloons on your car. The visual of those balloons pulsating on the back of your car is so hilarious to me.
I watched it yesterday. It was pretty funny.
It's such a clown car kind of thing. It's totally out of like a cartoon. It looks like something you would see on SpongeBob. I'm like, I want that. I want to put that on my car. But the problem is I noticed they both popped. So I'm wondering.
I didn't know they both popped either until I saw the video.
Yeah, and then I'm wondering if that's going to be something. If I were to try this, that I would need to do is maybe, get like super thick balloons or something. It's hilarious. If you don't know what we're talking about, Big D, we stuck these balloons on his tailpipes, on his exhaust pipes of his classic 70s muscle car, 1970 Chevelle. And like whenever he fired up the engine, it sounds like a whoopee cushion. It's like, it just sounds hilarious because the balloons have little holes in them. So it makes this weird, wonky noise. And then they're like pulsating with every little.
So great. I mean, I really see this moving into other things like, what can we put on tailpipes? What else can go on there?
We could always test the Beverly Hills Cop thing. Remember Eddie Murphy stuck a banana in their tailpipe and
that'll work,
it
right?
Clogged? I don't know.
I'm not doing that to my car.
Well,
you can do that to your car.
I'm not doing it to my car.
Man, there's my car is the most. It's like you remember building a vehicle out of Legos.
Yeah.
Would you mean it had like gears, like legit gears and stuff? Do you ever get the fancy Legos?
Oh, like the
what do they call those?
Oh no, yeah.
It was a different. It was Legos, but it was
no, it wasn't
yes,
Legos.
Yes,
no,
it was my memory. It's Legos. We talking about.
It's
my
Legos.
yes. If I had Legos, it was my. You can't tell me no. You're wrong. It was It was my Legos.
I'm googling Legos with gears.
Okay, go ahead.
Bricks and functions. What?
Oh, what is that? Who makes that?
You rich kids.
Who makes that?
I'm looking.
Who makes it?
I don't know.
It's Legos made it. That's who makes it.
I don't know.
I don't know why. We didn't. I would get big kits.
Dude, I didn't even have. We used to get these big buckets of building bricks from Sears.
Yes.
My parents would get these giant buckets.
Building bricks is the best.
And it was like, man, they were like red, white, and blue.
That's it.
And I used those it was the greatest thing ever. I would make aircraft carriers and do all kinds of cool stuff, but I didn't have gears. I never had that.
Yeah, it was. Man, I didn't do it right. Anyway, my point being is that's about how. What's that? Technique. I don't know.
TECHNIC.
But anyway, my point is that's how simple my car is. Man, it's like up underneath it. It's like. No, there's a bat and there's.
Well, like that's the way Jay Leno talks about his old Lamborghini, the Countach.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it was the one that was on the poster for every kid in the 80s.
In the back of Spencer's?
Yeah. And he said, that's the most basic car. He said it's the easiest thing. He said it might as well have been a tractor.
Really?
Yeah, he said it was the easiest car to work on. It was his daily driver for like 20 years. He's like, I drove it every day because I could fix it. I could pull over on the side of the road, pop the hood, tinker a little bit, and I'm back on the road.
I also heard that they're terrible to drive. Like you can't see anything behind you.
I would think not. But then again, if you're in a Lamborghini, why are you worried about what's behind you? That's what I'm saying. That's why that little rear view mirror is tiny.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter.
And now we got cars that I don't know how new yours is, but the 360-degree cameras,
dude. The Land Rover cameras are even better than the 360 cameras. On the new Defenders, they will do, it looks like there's a drone flying outside of your vehicle. It not only does the overhead shot, it will take it from like 25 feet away, and you can circle around your car, which is cool because if you're doing off-road stuff and you're, trying to figure out your line, off-roaders know what I'm talking about. You're trying to figure out your line. You go, oh, well, this makes perfect sense. And then they have a camera underneath. Also, so you can see exactly where your wheels are going.
How do they do that?
I don't know.
I mean, I get the underneath camera, but how do they do the one that looks like a drone?
They stitch it together and then just kind of, I don't, computers, man.
Do you think we'll get to the point where no one physically drives a car?
Yeah, I do. It's going to be a while. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to be the death of radio. First of all, the death of radio has been predicted over and over and over since the 50s. And it's only gotten bigger and bigger. There are actually the radio listenership has increased. And I'm going to get to your question in a moment. It's increased every year since back in the day. You've always had those people who didn't listen to radio in their car. They were the CD people. And then before that, they were the satellite people. Then they were the CD people. Then they were the cassette people, and so on and so forth. They had people back in the day that had 8 tracks and record players in their cars.
Wow. Yeah. I've seen the old record players.
So,
you wouldn't think that would work. Well,
yeah.
It didn't work very well.
It didn't work very well. You hit a bump and it skips.
Right.
But yeah, so there's all kinds of tech disruptions. But they always said that, if cars were self-driving, that means people would be watching TV. And I do believe that there is a big part of that to come. But I also think there's something to audio as well, because you can paint a picture. Like if I do this, you see that man. I want you to imagine that man.
Yeah, you don't have to say imagine. We all did. Don't you?
Yeah, you see exactly that guy. And the funny thing is you see a different guy than I do. And everybody does. And it's fascinating. I love radio. So getting to the point, one day when we do get to these self-driving cars, it's going to have to start with the interstates and the freeways and all that. It's got to start there. So that's how we're still probably 20 years from that taking over. Where they're going to say, okay, in order to use the interstate system, you're going to have an automated car, which will be great because it is going to make road trips so awesome. You just kind of hit your car, you get on the on-ramp, you hit the button, and it merges you in. And the other cars, it's all self-aware. They're going to make space for you, and you just go. It's going to be awesome. I only think that the big things that we're going to have to worry about are going to be deer and things like that. Animals that come out on the road, a coyote or something. Oh, look, here's a random cow. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty smooth and pretty awesome. And it'll be great because all the cars will talk to each other. And they'll just get in a line. Like those, what's the movie with Tom Cruise where they were doing the future prediction? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
yeah, where they were having the mind crimes. They would arrest you for things that would go on in your mind.
I am not going to look it up. I'm going to use my brain. Minority Report.
Minority Report. Thank you. So, yeah, you'll see everything just kind of do like that. And that'll be cool. That'll be very cool. But, again, it's going to have to start with the interstates before it even gets, and that's going to have to go years before they can bring it down to the regular roads. So, yeah, we're going to get there. It's still a long ways off. However, we do have fantastic technology. My car will drive itself as long as you touch the steering wheel.
You kind of hold your hand on a little bit?
Yeah.
There's got to be a hack around that, like putting zip tying.
People have done all kinds of stuff. I've seen pictures of people sleeping on their commute to work.
I've seen that too.
And they're just like conked out. But mine will do the whole thing. Like it'll sit in traffic and it'll slow down and stop and do all the things.
And move up a little bit?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't now. I know some of the new cars, they also give you like audible notifications that go ding, 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 ding to go, hey, the car in front of you is moving, because so many people at stoplights put their heads down and start playing with their phones. They don't realize that traffic's left. So I know like I was driving a rental car not too long ago. It was like a Hyundai or a Kia or something, and it was like ding, ding, ding. And I looked up and I'm like, oh, that is the coolest thing ever. It's a little radar. It's a little radar tag, man.
That's insane.
Or it's either radar or cameras. I don't know how they're doing it for that.
Yeah.
But the point is, it knows that the car in front of you moved, which is good because then we don't have to honk at those people anymore.
It's gotten so much worse with phones on their.
Yeah.
You know, oh my God, it's worse.
Yeah.
It used to be bad. It's epidemic.
It's atrocious.
It's really bad.
Yeah, which is great because that's the thing that is going to usher in the usage of the self-driving stuff is the fact that people aren't going to want to put their phones down. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, let's say let's say somebody goes to the bar and they jump on the road and it's auto driving. Are they still a drunk driver? I would say yes, because they're ultimately in control and in command of their vehicle. But that's going to come up in court at some point.
I never thought of that. Yeah,
I was hammered, but the car was driving. I wasn't.
But would they even get pulled over because their car's driving perfectly?
Yeah, that's true.
So
they wouldn't be swerving.
They wouldn't be swerving, and if they do get caught, maybe it's a lesser thing or something. I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do this.
I don't think it's gonna be lesser. I think it's still gonna be the same thing. I've got so many things I've got to do. Like I'm already kind of thinking of how do we move into that space in 15, 20 years? Like how do we as a show, and I know you're like, I'm not going to be here, but I love the looking forward aspect of all of that.
Is that my voice that you use? Is that what you think? Okay.
No, let me see. I'll do the Big D voice. It's very, it's kind of biting sometimes. You'll go, I'm not going to be here. Yeah, you'll do that. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. We all do. It's all right, though. I'm not going to be here. Not in 15 years. 20 years.
20 years? Man, that's a long time. 20 years.
20 years is a long time. But, if you think about it, I mean, dude.
I mean, I know.
We've been doing this show longer than that. Hey, Schaefer. Schaefer just walked up.
It's more of a dismissive voice that he has. It's like, 15 years.
I don't do that. I never do that.
Sure you do. Why not?
I'm trying to think if you do.
I know. You're hearing. I know what you're saying. You're right. I'm very dismissive. Just like what do you?
And I know I can be very curt. I'm like,
no, I came in just to say you're very dismissive. That's all I came in to say.
It's your contribution.
Yeah.
I said contribution.
I was thinking the other days, I said something, we were cutting a commercial, an endorsement thing, and I completely said the wrong. I had like 5 flub ups, and
it was awesome.
It was so great. We need to be keeping those. And
you've said that for years.
We never do. We just never forget because they're like, oh.
And just do a whole outtake show. And it's just like, hey, it's the outtake show. Or we do a podcast. Okay, at the end of the podcast, we'll have this week's outtakes.
Yes.
That was that was the other D voice where he resigns himself to his own fate. Like, we're going to...
Well, because that solely falls upon him. That's the problem, because I'm doing the editing. I cannot keep that audio.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I would have to... Yeah,
I would have to do something.
Yeah, you're right. That is. That's a good move. I recommend everyone do that. You should kind of. It helps in life a lot.
Yeah, D's basically like, I struggle with procrastination, but I'll deal with it later.
I follow a guy on. I don't follow.
I got that, by the way.
On TikTok, and he goes up to people and he's like, "Hey," he was in Europe, and he's like, "Hey, are you an American?" The guy walks up. He's so excited. He goes, no, I'm from, Ireland. He goes, get out of here. That's enough of that. and he walks away, and the camera's still on the guy he was talking to, and he's so confused. He's like, what? Okay.
Didn't know what just happened.
He goes up to people in public places, asks them a question. Man, that shirt is awesome. Where'd you get that at? I don't care. I'll get it. And then walks away.
Dude,
I have a habit of doing that at different places I've worked over the years. If somebody else comes into a conversation and they're talking about something separate from what I went into to talk about,
you just leave?
I just leave. I just walk out.
Him.
I just walk away. I just leave.
And I stay there like a dummy.
Yeah,
my assistants used to call me out on that all the time. They're like, well, Schaefer's bored. He just left. Yeah.
Now, do you leave? Does it take them a while to realize you've gone? If you're like at a party and you leave, do you leave parties?
Do I go to the parties first of all? But yeah, if I'm at the parties, it's just like, I will just drift out of there, like the Homer Simpson GIF or whatever, where he backs into the bushes. That's me at the parties. I'm just kind of slowly back.
I can't do the Irish goodbye. Big D is the master of it.
And you wouldn't think so. I'm so big. I'm always the biggest person in any room I'm in. And
You are sneaky though.
And,
like you do
yeah.
have a way of being able to leave a room and people are like, "Where'd D go?"
He's very soft. It's and I don't mean soft in a bad way.
He just called you soft.
No, I do. He will sneak up on you. He will sneak up on you without you knowing it. He's not a harumpher, a clobber.
That's true because
rumper.
he will scare us from time to time.
Yeah.
He did that to Carson the other day where he walked past and
God, I hid behind her door. She went to the bathroom. I went to go talk to her or something in her studio, and she wasn't there. And I hear the toilet flush her down the hall. So I hide behind her door. She walks in. Dude,
the worst.
I ruined her day. Whew. The chills.
I heard it in my office.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. And I do it. You go, oh, you film those? No, I just literally do it.
We used to film it like with Patrick.
If I remember, I will. Oh, Patrick was the worst. What a girl. He would squeal.
Dude,
oh my god.
The time you got him to spill his coffee, he walked in with a coffee, and D was behind his door. And just went, hi, and he went, and the coffee just goes flying.
Oh, yeah.
He just threw it.
I say girl, but Carson doesn't, she doesn't flinch. She doesn't at all. She's really hard to get.
But she's the toughest person in the room, though.
Oh,
Any
no
room
doubt.
Carson walks into, she's the toughest person in the room.
I go into low defensive stance. Somebody scares me, I'm down low, and I'm ready to pounce. And I'm like, you just scared the crap out of me.
I have friends that were offensive linemen in the NFL, so anytime that happens, I'm like,
Yeah,
ready to block.
You're seeing the guy who hides as a bush on the streets.
I've seen that.
That guy gets me.
That's terrifying.
Dude, that's an hour of my life. I'll let it go. I'll just watch it and watch and watch. This is so great. I've started getting into. I was going to talk about it on the show maybe next week, but the guy who makes greeting cards. Have I talked about that?
No.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's so.
Are we making
into
greeting
it.
cards now?
He it's a next level. Like I'll have to send one to you. It's too much to explain.
There's another.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking. He makes greeting cards.
Yeah,
How is
like
that?
so it's a piece of cardboard. He has a thing that folds it correctly.
Yeah.
And then he has stencils and he paints and
Is his name Garrett?
I had to send that to you, Garrett. It's so good. It's right up your alley. It's super creative.
To go back to D and some of the things that he does, since I've only been here for a few months, is that there are times he can sell something stone cold, very stoked, to where he'll be telling me something. I'm like, I have no idea if this is true or he's making fun of me. I still have these moments.
Usually
that I
it's
have
a combination
no
of
idea.
the two. There is
Right.
some
No, it's not.
embellishment in there.
Which is a form of dismissiveness, which goes back to how this whole thing originally started.
100% of the time, I'm making fun of you.
Dude, he's been making fun of me for years.
Oh,
And
I don't care that he's
even know
making
it. I don't even know it until after, and he does the dismissive, like,
Okay, get out of here. No, whatever.
That's right.
and then I'm like, oh.
I don't mind that he's making fun of me. It's just that it's the uncomfortability I have where I'm sitting there trying to figure it out. And I know my body language is giving it away that I'm like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
There we go. No, just it's like a vocal falling down a hill.
Yeah, it's like you're falling downstairs vocally. It's just like, hey.
You could say it a different way. I said it fine perfectly the first time, but all right.
Okay. All right.
What else is it like?
See, there's this dismissive.
Falling downstairs. What is there another analogy?
It's almost like
Hank
falling
Williams
down
falling off
a mountain.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
Very much like a mountain.
Yeah, I get it.
Off a cliff.
That's a good one. That's good. That's good.
As it just fell again.
Yeah.
I must say the balloons on the girthy tailpipes.
We
We
just
already
talking-
talked about
Yeah,
that.
we
Yeah,
just
well, I
talking
wasn't
about
in the room, to be fair.
yeah, no.
But
What's your favorite part about it? By the way, if you get a chance, watch the video. It's all over our social media, at Big D and
I'll
Bubba.
guess.
Also YouTube and all that.
I'll guess your favorite part of it was smelling and starting the car.
Yeah, it was the combo of the two. Yeah.
It has a.
But I was terrified I was going to flood it.
Yeah, well, I even said that to Bubba. Like he's gonna flood it.
No, that's why I didn't give it a ton of gas, because I was afraid to flood it.
It
So that's
will,
why
man.
when you were telling me give it more gas, I went, okay, now he's told me, so if I screw this up, now it's his fault.
I've done it. When I first got the car, I had no. I didn't. There's. It's so quirky, man. It has all these little things.
Well, because it's 50
It's
years old.
right. It's old, man. It's old
Yeah.
thing. I mean, it is. But I went to go drive it. I had it for like, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe. And I went to go start it, and it was like, I did it. I flooded it. I was in my garage, and I just could not get it. I was like, either I did that or something's wrong with it. So I called my cousin, Randy, who you don't know him, but he's a mechanic.
Well, we all have a cousin Randy.
Yeah. So he's a diesel mechanic. He does.
Yeah,
all
that's
this.
basically my brother.
Right. So I called him. I'm like, hey man. He goes, sounds like you flooded it. And you know what he told me to do? And I for the first time I ever heard it, and it works. It's the opposite of what you think. To get your car to start when it's flooded, you hold the pedal down constantly. You never turn it. You just all the way to the floor and just keep going. And it starts it. I don't know how it works.
I'll say this,
I
though.
usually just leave it alone.
You can do that too. But he says, yeah, if you want to go now, just hold it down. It'll start.
Well, one thing I realized is you can't take that on a prom date because everyone will smell.
It's
when you
so
start that
stinky.
Car up. It's smelly.
Oh man,
It's not stinky. It's America.
I can smell it down the hall while it's in the garage. I'll get up in the.
I believe that.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I think something's wrong with the elevator here. Did you smell it when you came in? It smells like a dentist's office. You know, like the drill smell.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Out in the hall,
almost like electrical.
It's
something's burning.
It's not burning. It just smells like it was really hot, and I'm
almost like when you're behind an 18-wheeler going down a mountain.
Yes, smelling
or
the
a staircase or a hill.
Yeah,
or talking.
I literally just did the same joke.
Yeah, I know.
I just did it.
No, but you didn't do it well enough. I did it.
I did it so.
You really did not.
Yes, I did. I said all three things that we just talked about: mountain, stairs, hill.
I heard
in
that
the right
part,
order.
But you didn't put the vocal inflection on it.
I don't need to. Oh
my god!
We're gonna listen. If we're gonna get into comedy, a theory, son, sit down. Let's go.
Dismissive.
See, there it is. But hey, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm messing, man. I love you. Anything else, puppy?
39 years ago, Red Dawn came out. The movie that changed my life. The movie that turned me into a prepper light.
Yeah.
Wolverines!
You guys like the second one?
I've never seen it because I refuse to see it. How do you top Patrick Swayze?
You cannot.
Charlie Sheen.
Impossible.
Jennifer Grey.
Oh, yes.
Leah Thomas.
Yes.
Powers Booth. I mean, it was the perfect movie.
It was, man.
The second movie looks so bad.
So they... no, I'm confused.
Because it was what, Chris Hemsworth was in it, maybe?
That's the only good thing. Okay,
Liam
Thor's
Hemsworth,
in it.
one of the Hemsworths.
Yeah.
Did you say Ugly Thor?
No, I said Thor was.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Ugly Thor.
Remember them peeing in the radiator?
Yes.
It's brilliant. Smart.
Anyway, I was just seeing that article about it, and they're saying that it is absolutely the most American film ever made, the most patriotic film ever made. Because the homeland was attacked, and
I mean, there's not a lot. I mean, it's definitely up there, but there aren't many of these like top tier American. Top Gun, that, and then
the original Red Dawn. I don't think my son's ever seen it. Like, let me tell you, this inspired me and my buddies to go into the swamp and start trying to. I mean, start trying to make plans. Okay, if the Ruskies came through, how are we going to defend the house? And we had all these things. Man, we learned how to do booby traps. Yeah. This is all way before the internet.
Yeah, but they're now just Facebook groups is all they are now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but we were out there experimenting with all this crazy stuff, and like our parents never knew. And we were making homemade RPGs and all kinds of. We basically learned how to make IEDs in the swamp away from everybody, just because we were going to save America from the Russians.
Yeah,
a bunch of goofy Cajun kids.
My generation was able to download the Anarchist Cookbook from the internet and get on all the FBI files.
Yeah, I would never do that.
I did that. I was 17 years old.
Yeah, I never really got into making like bombs and that kind of stuff. We all had a friend who did. I mean, it was Bubba or you. And you have the primer. You have a nail glued to the primer, and then it's weighted, and so you throw it and it drops. And
we used to do marbles on the back of shotgun shells.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you tape a marble
that's really
and you throw it, and it's weighted, and boom. Yeah, but to experiment with those, we had to remove all the shot out of them.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Well, then you got a marble that's going to fly out, aren't you? Or is it not?
No, the marble's on
It
the
stays?
backside. The marble's
It's
on
on the backside.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay.
I mean, I don't know if this is, smart to be talking about. I don't know.
Well, look, they can find it on the internet like anything else.
Yeah, this is
so
all
why not?
stuff we did as kids when this movie came out way back when. So we were like, oh, how are we going to defend it? We got to come up with a way. Actually, we didn't talk like that. It was, man, we got to find a way to fix that so the Russians don't come up through the bayou. We can't let them come through and take America from us. We got to defend this one.
Dude, I could listen to that all day. I remember my mom used to think Justin Wilson was like legit Cajun.
Oh, that whole
It's
I
not.
guarantee.
Yeah, I guarantee.
I'm going to ask a dumb question.
You
Who's
know,
Justin Wilson?
So no,
He was an
older.
old time cook.
Oh, yeah,
like a
he-
TV cook.
Yeah, TV cook, and he was a Cajun, and he did that whole it was a weird combo. But if you're not from Louisiana, I'm from Tennessee, and so I was just like, yeah, that's how they sound. And when I moved to Louisiana, I was shocked.
You're from Tennessee.
That's
Tennessee.
right.
That's wonderful.
Wow, that's good.
Tennessee.
That's right. That is an absolute local
That is
Tennessean
local.
thing
Mhm.
to say Tennessee.
Yeah. And the word Lafayette and Lafayette.
Lafayette.
It's Lafayette up here.
Lafayette, and it's Lafayette. That's right. It's Lafayette in there.
Anyway, I highly suggest if you are listening or watching or doing whatever on this podcast that you watch Red Dawn, the original. If you've never seen it, it actually holds up. It did. No, stop. What? Stop. It holds up.
I'm with you, Shafe. It's
Avenge me!
it does, but
It is dated. It's an 80s movie. It's like an 80s low budget
But
movie.
that's what I was going to say. If you're saying it holds up,
It does hold up.
but if it holds up, that means it's not dated. That's how I look at that term.
It's a snapshot into America of the 1980s.
okay.
If, under a
yes,
hypothetical
yes.
situation, we were invaded by Russia and Cuba. Remember, because Cuba and
It was
Nicaragua
Cuba.
were...
Dude, and that totally confused me. I didn't know anything about world politics or
It taught you all
geography.
about it. You're like, why
Sandinistas.
I was like, this is a guy.
are the Cubans
I was
attacking
like,
America?
This is a Mexican guy. Why I don't understand. Why would they fight us? What's going on?
Panama, Noriega back in the day.
Didn't get it, man. I got the Russian thing. It was easy.
Well, Cuba, of course, being part of Russia back then was like, they were
didn't know
buddy-buddies.
I just remember being in elementary school, and if all else fails, hide under your desk.
There you go. Everything's fine.
Tornado,
that never
nuclear
works.
fallout,
Hurricane.
hurricane.
Get off the
Avalanche.
X. Don't stay and be a target. Move.
Did you say get off the X?
Get off the X.
Smart. That's a good. I need
Get
to
off the X.
Get
You
off the
got to
X.
go. If you're ever in a situation, wherever you may be, get out of Dodge. Go. Get to somewhere safe. And learn the difference between cover and concealment. Also, another big thing we worked out in the swamp back in the day.
I'm glad I came in and ruined this podcast.
We're taking-
I feel very good about
We're
it.
taking life-saving advice from 12-year-old Bubba.
Hey man, I probably still have canned food like stashed in like a berry plot. We buried food. We did all the stuff, and it's all in like those old ammo cans.
From a guy who has Frosties for breakfast. Let's remember that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dude, look at this svelte figure.
Svelte. Svelte.
All right. Well, so thank you for watching the podcast and listening. And
May have
Henry
saved a
Cho,
life today, man.
Maybe so.
maybe Henry Cho, comedian Henry Cho. If you're listening, is going to be on the end. As you wish. I've been to that hill. British Rob, shout out to British Rob. He took me to the As You Wish Hill.
Oh, is it like a thing now?
It's in the Peak District where they filmed The Princess Bride, and I got to go and I took pictures of me with the As You Wish Hill.
That's cool.
Where he tumbled down.
Six-fingered man.
Did you fall down the hill?
I didn't fall down the hill. I didn't climb it because I had to climb it to fall down it, and I was like, I ain't climbing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Huh?
Yeah, Henry Cho coming up.
This was the podcast, but now it's over. But that's okay, because you can listen to the regular show on the radio
I forget about it. I don't want to hear it.
every day. It was the podcast.